Hey, welcome to the Tech Talks podcast. Tech Talks is a place where I sit down with some of the brightest and most influential people in the tech industry in the UK. We talk about their journey to where they are now, what they have going on behind the scenes, and we talk about some of the hot topics that I know people are going to want to know the answer to. When we started Tact, we were very passionate about giving people in the tech industry a voice, and with Tech Talks, we've done just that. I hope you enjoy the episode. Hi, welcome to the Tech Talks podcast. Today I'm joined by Sheena McKellar, Business Analysis Manager over at Boohoo. How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. And you?
Good. Yes, really good. Thank you. Really good. Thank you for coming. I always like to start these things with whoever doesn't know who Sheena is. I don't know who wouldn't. Who is Sheena?
Well, I could start with Sheena has been multiple names, which is kind of off track a little. I am Sheena McKellar. I am 46 years old, mother of two. Never went to university, straight out of university into work environment. Started on a free phone number at Lex Vehicle Leasing as a temp, answering very strange calls, as well as the normal calls that you were expected to answer. And then just kind of flowed along. I am definitely the squiggly career kind. So I was initially moved into administration and sales team, became a sales exec, then moved into a System 2000 technical implementation as a user group representative, and worked with an offshore company, Maztec, in India to develop a complete ERP transformation for Lex Vehicle Leasing back in the day. When I got bored of that, which will no doubt come in as part of the theme of my career, I moved into purchasing, doing a Six Sigma project, which was really interesting, and then became senior buyer for Lex Vehicle Leasing again, which was really interesting. We were spending 400 million a year. It was great fun. Learned lots of new things. Then started progressing more with business analysis. Worked at RAC, back to Lex. They were all part of the same group, and then LBG took over, moved into their area, had a fantastic contract with term time hours, so I got all the holidays off, which was fab. But because of that, they kind of put me in a role where they could do without me, really. Right. So when voluntary redundancy came up as an opportunity, I took it, and I opened a interior design business. So opened a shop, loved it. Loved setting up an email, setting up all the website, setting up the shop, finding suppliers, buying all the stuff and everything. And when it came to sitting behind the desk and finding clients and all that, I just got a bit bored. So decided to move back into business analysis because I could actually earn some money doing that. So went to work for Swinton Insurance, stayed there for a couple of years, got promoted to development lead. It wasn't working for me being in the city centre at the time because I had two children. It meant that I could only do 30 hours a week to achieve the pick up and drop off of childcare, being a single mum. So took a role at Voltex, which is a cash processing business. So that was really interesting. Became head of business analysis there. Again, another ERP system, doing the whole RFP process. And then ultimately bringing in agile ways of working with a company called BJSS, who were brilliant at implementing that with us. So learnt a lot. Then things were moving and changing there. So I went to Pets at Home as BA manager. Stayed only a little time. At that point in time, they weren't really ready to take on business analysis in the large scale. So I stayed there 6 months and then moved to Furcraft, which was a recruitment company. 2 years there. Again, that RFP, ERP system, doing all that process, getting ready to implement a new system. And then they were bought out by another company. And so found myself moving on again. Moved to Together Money, which was mortgages, and stayed there for maybe 18 months. And decided that I got bored. I was there during the pandemic, So we did the whole payment holiday project. Really interesting, really exciting. Stayed there for a while and then decided I wanted something new where I didn't have to deal with FCA regulations every day. So I moved to Boohoo. So started off as a senior BA, but with a remit very much of building the team, building the capacity. And I've been there a year. Tuesday.
Wow.
Yeah, on Tuesday.
Is there an industry you haven't worked in?
I've not done anything public sector.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Always been private sector. But yeah, I love the change.
Yeah.
So definitely that's part of who I am, really getting into that whole, just learning and developing and changing and not getting too much like a hamster on a wheel.
Incredible. So bringing it even further back then, where did you grow up?
I grew up all around Cheshire, so Timpley, Knutsford, Maxfield, all around that area. Never moved too far, really.
Lovely part of the world. Why would you? What were you like as a kid?
So I'm the youngest of three.
Right.
Yeah, probably the troublesome one, I guess, in some ways. I had the freedom to do what I wanted to do. So when I was 15, I was, you won't know this because you're too young, but I used to dance for the Hitman and Her. So I used to do podium dancing at nightclubs.
Hitman and Her, what's that?
Yeah, it was a TV show with Pete Waterman and Michaela Strachan.
Okay.
And a dancer called Clive Wiggy. Yeah, you can Google it later and you'll go,
100% I will do. Yes.
I was too young to appear on it, so I used to go to the clubs and do the dancing on the nights that weren't the show nights.
So how did you go from, you went from that, then how, was it while you were dancing one night on the podium you thought, I want to get into tech?
God, yeah, it was like, yeah, always. I always had that. Every time I was there, how
just
strange.
That moment you were like, wow.
No, I think that's the thing with me. I think I've just always gone with the flow. So I actually got a boyfriend, so that was it. Otherwise, I'd have been pink, I'd have been on stage, singing, dancing, but it didn't happen, no. So, no, I was working part-time in a cafe, went and worked in the cafe, went there for about a year after my A-levels and wanted to go on holiday, and my boss said, well, you're not going, I'm leaving because this soon. So, right, my mum went, let me go, and she went, get your dad to pick you up and just tell him to stick his job. And then my boyfriend frog marched me to the local agency and got me to get a temping job, and that's where that career path started. Yeah.
At Boohoo, you mentioned you started as a senior BA.
Yeah.
Incredible. But now you're obviously BA manager. Yeah. And you grew your team out. And I know you've ran me through the numbers before, but what was it when you started, and what is it now?
So there was 7 BAs when I started, and I do remember kind of going on the train and thinking, as I was changing my LinkedIn details, that I've gone from being like head of BA manager to being senior, and oh my God, what will people think?
Yeah.
But I knew Jo through a networking thing, and had faith in her that they would use my abilities. It was all about what can I bring to you? I want to add value to the team. And I think they acknowledged that the maturity of the business analysis team was quite low, and they wanted to bring somebody in who had that experience and could help grow that and develop it and help mature that and within tech and working collaboratively. So, there were 7 BAs when I joined across my area in supply chain. Now we've got 22, 8 of which are contractors, got 3 apprentices. Which is fab because it's then all about that personal development, kind of building a team that all support each other so that you've got that succession planning, which is really important to me.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's in a year.
Yeah.
So you're busy then, I guess.
Yeah, I've done a lot of interviews.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. So from all those interviews, is there anything you've learned?
For me, I was listening to one of these actually the other day with the architect from Cinch.
Oh yes, John C. Yeah.
Yeah, so he was saying about finding that cultural fit in an interview, and that is very much what I do. I think the CV can tell you kind of some things around the skills that they have, and so very much in a CV for me, if you're just giving me the job description back to me, I'm gonna be thinking, I need some evidence here. I'm not getting it. You're just ticking the box. You're trying to get the word search in LinkedIn. So it's about those achievements. So I think you see that on the piece of paper, and obviously you ask questions around that, what your experience is, but very much it's about a personality fit for me and what would work with Boohoo. So I've worked in bank, I've worked in different sectors, and I've come from very governed, structured approaches to Boohoo, which I was trying to write kind of what words describe Boohoo. And, we're very adaptable, we're very dynamic, we're very ambitious. And they all sound really positive. I think you have to add into there that we're very hectic as well. So, that fast-paced is like 100-fold. So when I have an interview with somebody who, it's a bit hectic where I am and I'm looking for some structure, and they get all excited about me talking about ways of working and what I'm trying to achieve, I go, it's not going to be right for you because we're not there yet, and that journey is going to take some time. If it's even appropriate at Boohoo, and that's something else. It's around making sure that what we do implement suits the business. It's about fit. Who can cope with it? Who's got a personality that can cope with the personalities we have in our business? It's great. It's bouncy. It's really bouncy, and it's good fun, but it's high pressured. It's been described as Marmite, and I think it can be Marmite, and it can actually be Marmite within 10 minutes.
Right, okay, nice.
Just you get thrown things, and you're like, okay, and you kind of have to sit back and go, breathe. Okay, how are we going to get through this? And it's good fun.
Yeah, I think people look at Marmite as describing something as Marmite as a bad thing, but I think it's a good thing, especially if you're trying to attract people who are so they're either not into it entirely, which is fine, so they're not involved, or they love it, super into it, and they're super focused on getting the job done.
Yeah,
which is brilliant, and I love the term bouncy, which is what do you mean by bouncy?
Just high energy. Has to be high energy. And you have to very much have to be adaptable. You have to be able to work together with other people and really come together as a team to find solutions for things, and not be too prescriptive, not be too, I suppose, too prescriptive about what that solution is. You've got to be open to other people's ideas and perspectives, and that's it's a real credit to Boohoo that.
When you're interviewing people,
Yes.
Obviously we all know who Boohoo are, big fashion brand.
Well, not everybody knows who Boohoo are.
Really?
I've definitely had that interview where you go, you sell clothes? Yeah, I don't think we need to continue with this interview.
Yeah, we do. Great, thanks for coming. We'll be in touch. That's madness. For that one person who didn't know who Boohoo was, come on, man. So Boohoo, when someone comes in, what's your description of Boohoo above and beyond we sell clothes?
So obviously multi-brands, so 13 brands in total. So I think one of the ways that I describe Boohoo, obviously, grown massively, online presence, obviously. We do actually now have a store because we've got the Debenhams beauty store in the Arndale, but that's our only bricks and mortar store. So yeah, online presence, generally very young customers, but obviously we have also Oasis, Warehouse, Karen Millen, so that's broadened as well. So to give an example, our portfolio last year, I think we only delivered 25% of the intended portfolio, but within that year we took on 4 brands within 12 weeks. We implemented the bricks and mortar beauty store, and we opened a model factory. So, all, new things to us, completely different to what we do now. But that delivery is just there, so it's just exciting, it's different every day. Never quite know what you might walk into.
Yeah, which I guess comes down to when you're interviewing, you need people who are, like you said, comfortable with the bounciness, comfortable with the hecticness, and comfortable with, I guess, a slight bit of ambiguity around what's happening. Yeah. Which some people aren't, again, which is fine, but some people just aren't that type of person.
Yeah, and the benefit is that you deliver, and the project sizes are enormous, so it's great fun. It's really good fun.
So in terms of plans for Boohoo, they've got all these great brands underneath them now. What does that then mean? Does it mean growth, I assume, of the business?
Yeah, and maturity as well. So we're running a big ERP program at the moment to take us from, we currently use Sage as our financial central system that we use for way more than you would probably ever do, but it's just grown organically. So it's about maturing that and looking what the new tech stack looks like and developing those pieces. So we're moving to a more modular solution, and it's building all of those things up. So, there's that element of it. Then we're working on a big program of work at the moment, which is Atlantic. So that's us opening a DC in America and starting to transact with customers in America. So the change comes through when we open a DC in America. The actuality of it is we're opening a new business in America. So because of all the implications of it and how you would approach it. So yeah, growing as a business, yeah.
Yeah, and that's a really interesting point. So setting up a business in America, DC, distribution center, I assume. Yeah. I guess what problems do you then have to solve when going over to America? Is there anything in particular that you're struggling with right now, or everything? Yeah, law, I assume, is a big one, right?
Yeah, so you need to understand the laws. Labeling, so when you're putting labels on a product, there's certain regulations that you have to have for America that you don't have in the UK. So when we want to be able to potentially move stock between DCs, we need to be able to have the correct labeling, the correct product compliance. Commodity codes is something that anybody who is working at Boohoo will just go. It's just it's the things that you need to overcome, So really, it's really, really interesting, really good. So we've got a team of BAs working on that at the moment, and yeah, good fun.
I was gonna say, do you thrive off that? I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see when you're talking about it, you kind of like smile, and you're like, oh, I've got this to sort out, which I don't know if you're insane or you just that's no, but it's good. Well, solving problems, I guess, is why you're now at Boohoo and doing so well, right?
Yeah, and why I am still, I guess, a business analyst manager.
Yeah.
It's just something that I really enjoy the role. I really enjoy the job. For me, it's all about adding value, and yeah, problem solving. Just working it out with the business, asking the questions that make them go, oh, I didn't think of that. Yes. It's those are the kind of the real highlights of the role, really.
Something you said before about in terms of titles, right? Because like you said, you were head of BA manager, and now all of a sudden you're at Boohoo, you find yourself as a senior BA or being offered a job as a senior BA. To take that risk of a formal step back in terms of title is huge, and a lot of people wouldn't do it just purely because of the title. What made you take that risk? It's obviously paid off.
It was the conversation with Joe and Helen, my line manager, and really what they were looking to achieve, and really believing in them that I would be able to do that. So I really enjoy forming teams and, setting up what good looks like, best practice, community of practice meetings, all of those things. So for me, it was being given that opportunity to do that again. I suppose my own personal ambitions, as I say, people have approached me to promote me rather than me go and look for it. I don't know whether that's linked to doing a degree or not doing a degree, but I don't know. I do have imposter syndrome, definitely at times, and question my value all the time. Really tough on myself, really hard on myself at times. So it's knowing that it was a job that I enjoyed, knowing that I had the opportunity to grow that team and to put in best practice was what attracted me. The fears then are around I'm not taking that next step and should I be? I look at my peers and think, yeah, I can handle that job. I know I could handle that job, but me pushing myself forward to take that next step, I'm not so good at. So yeah, it's been a lot of reflection, but ultimately I enjoy what I do, and that's the thing. What's great about Boohoo, I've recently we went through doing an insights session. Right. So have you heard of insights where you've got the red, green, blue?
Yeah, and if you're like introverted or yes,
yeah, introvert, extrovert, and all of that. Right. Yeah, I'm a fiery red, but I'm a fiery red with blue. So I'm direct. And data driven. So yeah, which crosses across extrovert and introvert actually. But yeah. So but after doing that, because kind of goes on to a different subject, but being direct, even in this discovery thing, they call it fiery red. And you go, well, that's negative, isn't it? You know, it's like, I have been told that I am assertive aggressive at times in my career.
Right.
And I think the head of HR that was taking the course with us, she was like, don't think of it as a negative. And I kind of always do, I always criticise myself for it. And so she's kind of taken me under her wing and done a little bit of mentoring and coaching with me. And we're looking at how to consider what those next steps might be in my career and what I might be interested in doing. So it's been a really positive experience with Boohoo. They have invested in training of my team and of me, and you know, there isn't an immediate no, whereas in previous roles I have had that, you know, and you just feel like you're not necessarily personally growing, other than the work itself and the experience of managing teams and different people and everything. So it's been really, really good in Boohoo, definitely recently as well.
From those mentoring sessions with this person that you were talking about, has anything come to light? Is anything that you're planning on doing, or anything, or that you can share with us, or not?
I am at the moment trying to do an application for level 7 senior leadership apprenticeship. So,
incredible. Okay.
Yeah, which gives me a master's. When I've not had a degree, it's like,
whoa.
But I did the initial assessment on maths and English yesterday, and it was awful. It was just so hard. It's like just thinking about the questions that you used to have when you were 16.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
But that whole not going to university thing is what, because I didn't go to university either. Well, I did, sorry, and I dropped out. But yeah, throughout my entire career, I've always been surrounded by people who went to university. But I think, especially recently, it's been such a change in that university is not the be all and end all. You don't need to go. And in fact, sometimes I think it's beneficial not to go to university, because you're spending time in the real world of work, trying different things out, you know. Again, you've had loads of different jobs before going into your chosen career path, which surely has served you in your current job.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, for me, those moments of going, is when my kids say how proud they are of me. You know, I know that I've been successful. My dad was an electrician. My mum was a shop worker. You know, and I've done really, really well. I'm really proud of myself. But yeah, it's like this thought of doing a master's, as much as it terrifies me, just as this did. You know, it's that thing of, I'm not going to say no. I want to say yes. I want to take whatever opportunities and challenges I can to keep growing. So yeah, my daughter's 17, so she's looking at going to university next year.
Oh wow!
And it's like, I looked at her last night and was like, what do you think? She's like, I'm dead proud of you. She's just so proud, and that's everything to me. It really, you know, it means a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. What's your plan on doing? Do you know?
Psychology.
Okay, right.
Yeah, so get psychoanalyzed all the time.
I was going to say, yeah. It's like writing notes down, like,
Oh. No, she doesn't write the notes. She just comes out and
she
says
says,
it.
well, this wasn't weird. Oh, nice. Okay, yeah. Fair enough. So what are the plans? I mean, you mentioned growth there for your team in particular. Anything that we need to be keeping an eye on? Any roles you're recruiting for? Anything like that?
Yeah, recruitment's just closed now. So I've got 3 people that I'm waiting to on board that I'm dead excited about, which is great. And like we've touched on, choosing the right people to complement the team that you've got has been a massive part of it for me.
Yeah.
It's quite funny. One of my senior BAs was saying to me, you know, should we have a standard set of questions and then mark them? And it's quite funny because that's what we did with him when we promoted him. But I was like, no, I don't like to do that, because everybody's different. And for me, an interview is about bringing the best out of somebody else. You want to draw that out. So having those standard questions, you might not get those nuances and know where to pick at, you know, and just trying to bring the best out of people.
Yeah, it should be a conversation, right?
Yeah, an opportunity. Yeah, and it almost a coaching session in a way of, you know, you tell me what you're good at, tell me what you're looking for. I don't want somebody to join Boohoo who's looking for something that we're not going to be able to deliver on, so but yeah, all the time I'm thinking about how they fit in with the rest of the team. What are they bringing, what are they contributing, what are their aspirations, are they looking to help the function to grow and the best practice element of it, or are they looking to be just a rock star of being a business analyst? Are they looking for promotion? Are they fast tracking? What all of those things to just to make sure it all gels and merges together, and obviously the different levels as well. So we have these 3 apprentices, which is fantastic, just really fantastic, great to be supporting that. And then mid-range, high range, so that everybody can feed off each other, everybody can grow in the day-to-day as well as any development that we put them through.
Yeah, interviewing is such a fine art, isn't it? And like I said, there's no like this is do this and it'll work. Is I think it is just practice, surely, from years and years of doing it. Because a CV, someone always told me that a CV is someone's accomplishments embellished and all their failures hidden. And it's almost like you're trying to get, not that it's bad to have failures or anything like that, but you want people to talk about them to make sure that they are right for the culture and everything. But it's just practice, isn't it? And loads of failed interviews, loads of interviews that didn't go well, loads of mistakes. And you're like, okay, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do this now. Is there any, well, I was going to say, is there any particular interview question that you'd like to ask that works, but then it might kind of ruin the interview?
I suppose it's just about what you're looking for. That for me is everything. That inspires that thought, and how they portray that to me is the biggest, really. It's what's somebody's aspirations, what do they want from it. But I agree, it's a conversation for me. It's very much just about drawing the best out of somebody. But yeah, some brilliant interviews. Yeah.
Obviously, I asked you about this question prior to the interview. You've had an interior design business already, so you know how far your money gets you. But say I was going to give you £1 million, what would you do? What business would you set up?
So I have thought about it quite a bit. So initially, when I read it, I was like, do you know what? I've been thinking a lot about a garden centre. That's wow. Maybe a little bit sad to some people. I love my garden. I love growing things. I love growing things from scratch. Got a little kitchen garden going on at the minute and stuff. So I really enjoy that. And then I was like, but I don't know. And then I start getting into that hamster on a wheel thing again. And I don't think it's for me. So I'll take your £1 million.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Bugger off to Spain.
Yeah. Potentially, yeah. So for me, I would love to be able to buy a farmhouse with a couple of holiday lets. So I suppose that's a business. But have those couple of holiday lets so that my kids can come back and visit me when they've buggered off and left me at whatever time in their life they do that. But that they can come back freely and do that. And then have a little bit of land to be able to grow things, to be self-sufficient, or to contribute to a community, a small community, and just really that kind of environment is what I like. So I think I would pay back on the thought that you've just given me £1 million for my own house by being able to offer my services to charities, probably, and where I can add value to a charity. But yeah, I don't know that a business would be for me. I'm not really entrepreneurial. I'm more of a give me a problem and I'll solve it, as opposed to, I know, I'll set this up, because I'd set it up and I'd go, yeah, done that now, what's next?
Yeah, what's next? I think that's kind of a business though. Lettings.
Yeah, that's kind of hit the mark.
And a farm in a way.
Yeah.
Well, a garden centre. Amazing.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah.
You're not going to do that.
No, that kind of it came and then it was like, no, I'd get bored.
I get it. Okay. Yeah. Well, and that kind of ties into my last question. I promise that I'll let you go. If today was your last day on Earth.
Oh God, you didn't prepare me with this one.
I know. I wanted it to be off the cuff. Last day on Earth. Apart from spending time with your family, obviously, and your kids and everything like that, and of course being on this podcast, what would you do?
Dance and sing like no one's watching.
Dance and sing, nice. Any particular songs?
90s dance.
90s
It
dance.
goes back.
There you go. It's all full circle.
Yeah.
I like it. Okay.
I'm consistent in my whole thinking.
We strike me as someone who would do that anyway, who'd dance and sing like I was watching.
Yeah.
So incredible.
Yeah.
But no, look, thank you so much for coming on. It's been amazing talking to you. Incredible to hear your journey to where you are now, because I think it's something that definitely interests me, and I'm sure it does interest other people out there. Excited to see how your team grows and how Boohoo grow in the next kind of 12, 18 months.
Yeah. Thanks very much.
Sure.